So, the thing,
Strick.
you're gonna be doing that for a while, huh?
Yeah, new school. We're like 3 years away from even being able to make a deposit on that.
Cool.
Worry. At night. So much. Then my secrets are known.
I can help.
How does a normal person like Floyd become involved with something like DTF St. Louis?
Hey guys, welcome back to Review Lounge, and this is a recap of episode 4 of DTF St. Louis. This episode you still have a lot of questions. You still have a lot of questions in this. I jotted everything down. I wrote everything down that I wanted to talk about. Floyd. Like I said, Floyd's a nice guy, and he's caring. He's really trying. And when you look at Clark, you seem like Carol's pulling the strings. I feel like we kind of get that. Carol's pulling the strings. She's and she can coerce Clark into helping out. Just Clark's he's a weak man, basically, in my opinion. That I feel like it's almost kind of genuine. Then also, you're messing with your friend's wife. That's just shady, of course. And then we, of course, it's a life insurance. They figure out the PO. They figure out the key is the PO box because Floyd wanted to hide it. But also, Floyd is the one that made the PO box and everything. They're going through money. They're going through money troubles. So I'm also still thinking, did he fake his own death as well, just so Carol can be taken care of, the son can be taken care of. Maybe the guilt of him asking his friend for money to help him out, because his friend's already paying for the school for his friend. He's already helping him out so much with his kid's school. Now you're doing the insurance. Then maybe he felt some type of way. Then we saw at the end of the season that the bombshell is that somehow he figured it out where Carol and Clark are messing around. Then he hit himself in the closet. But also, why can't we not think that he knows? He could be one of those type of people where he can't satisfy his wife, so he's letting Clark do that because he's a close friend. Because maybe he wants to make sure his wife is satisfied, because he can't satisfy her because of his situation with his man downstairs, which we still don't know what happened. And I feel like they're not going to tell us that until probably the final episode. That's just really annoying. So maybe he knows. That's another thing. Maybe he knows that Clark is messing around. But okay, well, no, I apologize, guys. Remember in the first episode, which they never got it back around. I apologize. When they never got it back around, where he knows his Clark's messing around with his wife because he did the sign language thing. So I was like, okay. So maybe he knows, and that he's not mad because he's not able to satisfy his wife. So he found out. So I wonder how he found out, and that he's like, okay, I'm okay with that because I have a situation with myself, with my manhood downstairs. So it's so many questions, but also Carol's not innocent. It's just like my mind is going everywhere because you have Carol, she manipulated Clark. You got Floyd, he's such a nice guy that he would do anything for the family, for his for the kid, all that. But you have Clark, he's besides messing with his friend's wife, he seems like a genuine dude as well, where he has these fantasies, things like that, but he might not feel comfortable to tell his wife, because we still really haven't had episode of them and his wife. I don't think we have episode where the detectives really like sat down and talked to Clark's wife. Really got to like we really haven't talked to her. There hasn't been an episode where they talked to Clark's wife, where they sat down and talked to her. Like, did you know your wife? What was you going through? They haven't talked to. We haven't gotten to the nitty gritty of that. It's always been just Clark, Floyd, and Carol. But we haven't talked about Carol's wife. But sorry, about Clark's wife. That's the thing. I want to know about that. I mean, it's probably not the big overall, but we need to know because we need to talk to her, find out even more about Clark. We know Clark's a nice guy and things like that. I mean, I had different theories I got right here. I mean, he's hiding in the closet. We know that. I was thinking maybe Floyd finds out everything, and at the end, he's just like, let me just end it all so my family can be taken care of. That can be something as well, because they found the stuff in the can. He's like, well, let me just do that, and I can get the money. Maybe this is a 3 mastermind where Floyd found out. Then he's like, he confronted Clark and Claro. He's like, well, let me just end it all. Maybe he got to the point where he wanted to meet Clark at that pool place, and he's like, he talked to him and everything. But again, remember, there's a scene where somebody was banging on the door with Floyd. That could have been Carol as well, coming in, but banging crazy because she's in that umpire outfit. And he ain't liking it. I think he feel like she's kind of mannish. So because Floyd's a nice guy, because they go back to the guy that he kissed, and because the detective thinks Floyd's some type of way, but Clark is like, Floyd is just a wonderful guy. He's just a nice guy. He didn't want to hurt the dude that kissing's feelings. So that's a lot to eat in this episode as well. Just we emphasize more on, yes, we know Floyd and Carol have money problems. We know that they're in debt. We know all of that. But I'm saying they still haven't gotten to Clark's wife and that. And I think hopefully the next episode they will dive in that more. Clark was in the garage typing up the insurance information, and his wife comes in there and she's like, "What's going on?" And he got so nervous. He is like, "Oh, it was some bullcrap story about him and the kids at night." And so I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And she didn't suspect anything, but Clark's such a nice guy. Maybe she wouldn't suspect him of really doing anything like what he's doing. Because we saw one episode where she's watching the news and she sees him getting arrested, and he's having an affair and all that. Just surprising. He's one of he's well known around the city. So it's just it's hard theories, and the theories are coming back around where just where if Floyd he sacrificed himself maybe. So it's just so much going on with this, and you're just like, what's going on? You're just like, Floyd knew, like he found out. How did he find out? What made him be like, oh, you're messing with my wife? What was there? It had to be something. And in these episodes, I really haven't seen anything, because it really just been him hanging out. And who else did not see a rap come up between Floyd and Clark? That was just funny. I wish I could play it. Just, oh my gosh, it was just funny that that rap came like like I got like 1 or 2 close friends, but I don't think us will be rapping. But this episode had me just question a whole lot, different theories. Just what's up with Clark's wife, Carol, that Floyd's really trying. He bought her earrings. She was like, no, we got money problem situations. So like, you're gonna fall into let's get an insurance. So right now everything is pointing towards Carol. Basically, she was manipulating Clark to help out with insurance, getting insurance, but also Floyd was pushing towards about his son and school, and Clark, so Carol just talked about the insurance. Floyd's the one that brought up about the school and money, things like that. So is Carol and Floyd in cahoots with just using Clark? Maybe Floyd knows. Maybe Carol told Floyd, or Carol thought of the idea to mess with Clark because Clark has money. So Floyd and Carol could be all this together, possibly. Then you wonder, well, what happened where, drinking the stuff. So maybe all of them confronted at the end and they were like, Clark, this is what's up, man. We're sorry. And maybe Clark tried to stop Floyd and Floyd drunk it. So maybe Clark just didn't. Maybe Clark was being used by Floyd and Carol. They're just being being used because he has money. And Floyd really deep down didn't want to do that. But he's, I think Floyd's weak as well because he has a issue downstairs with his manhood, and he used to be in Playgirl, and so he just felt like he just wants to make up to his wife. So he listens to his wife because when he sits down in the episode, he sits down and tries to talk to her about her wearing the umpire uniform. It's hard for him to talk about it. He ends every sentence with a question. How he talks with her. So he's nervous about talking. He's nervous about having conversations with her to tell her how he feels and what's going on. So we can tell Floyd he's kind of weak as well because he's gone. Because of the money issues and his past relationship with his first wife and everything. So maybe just it was all Carol's idea and Floyd just went along with it. And then at the end, he just drunk it because, he was just felt weak and he just ended it. And maybe Clark tried to stop him, but he didn't. And boom, there it is. That could have happened. Carol could have been a mastermind. Floyd could have known along. He just went along with it. He does love his friend Clark. And he probably felt horrible, but he loves his family a little bit. He felt a little bit more to take care of his son, stepson, but no, his son, and take care of Carol because he loved it. He bought her those rings. So much going on that, in this episode, it makes me point out is Carol is the one that's the mastermind. Floyd went along with it. He didn't want to. He kind of went along with it. But Carol, because Floyd did the cookout, Carol met him. She's like, oh, okay. It's all right. Let me just get all, looking all cute and everything. So I that's one of my high theories is Carol just, she kind of maybe planning and Floyd just went along with it. And, he really didn't want to hurt Clark, but there it is. So that's my take, guys. I know I've been everywhere with this, but just makes me really question that, Floyd kind of knew maybe. And it's all been a mastermind plan. So many clues in this. I'm not the one that's to break every little scene down. I'm just like, boom, let's talk about this. Let's go, So what you thought about it, guys? My last episode, y'all really got into the comments. Y'all really got into it. Let's continue this. Leave a comment below. Tell me what you think. Give me your theories. Tell me what you thought about it. What else that I probably missed in this episode? Tell me what I missed. Leave a comment below. Talk about it. Let's have a dialogue. Be respectful, guys. But let's have a dialogue. I want to know, and are we even closer to really finding out? Because I think it's a few more episodes. I think we have 4 more episodes to go. I love this week to week conversation we have in each episode. But yes, give it to me, guys. Leave a comment below. Make sure you like, subscribe, guys. Until the next recap episode of DTF episode 5 coming out next week. I talk to you later, guys. Peace.